Hello and welcome to episode 134, I think. I hope that's right, of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman. I hope that's right.
I think I'm Darby Hallman.
Ooh, damn. Yeah. I guess I'm Jeff Mayo. God, I could have... All right.
Okay.
I'll take his word for it. I'm Jeff Mayo. That's Darby Hallman.
Yeah.
Actually, Jeff, I'm sorry. I just remembered. I'm actually Tipo.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you might be Kazooie.
Oh, okay.
All right, glad we figured that out. Glad we settled that out. That's
definitely not Kazooie's thing, but I can't do that noise.
Because you're a coward, Jeff. You're a coward. Darby, sorry, you're a coward. Kazooie, damn it. The podcast is over. We botched this. How you doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
Good. We got nice silly energy in the air. You got to be silly while the world's falling apart so that you don't cry. The world is indeed falling apart and it's scary. But we still have video games as our relief in these dark times ahead. And
for now,
we might have nothing. We might very well have nothing very, very soon. Everything's being canceled. You just talked about 3 different shows that you were already going to. That's like the last bastion of things. It's rough. But if you need help getting through the time, you can watch the great content Nerds at Large. And before we start talking about video games news, I just wanted to promote out 2 streams that we did recently on twitch.tv/Nerds at Large Gaming. One of them is the Steam Game Festival from Mr. Jeff Keighley. It was a bunch of free demos on Steam that you can go and try. We played...
Let's say probably can't try by the time you're listening to this if you don't already know about it. It ends on Monday, March 23rd.
But if you want to look at a few of those demos, you can watch us play about 3 or 4, however many we did. Like Spiritfarer was the one I was most excited about, and there was several other ones. Some were cool, some were not. It was a fun time.
One, we stopped at the load menu because it just took too long.
Lots of loading problems. And then the other is that I am slowly doing a Final Fantasy VII replay in preparation for the remake. I'm just playing the Midgar section. So part 2 of that is up, so that's a good time. But other than that, I'm pretty much ready, Jeff. So let's talk a little bit more about Ori and the Will of the Wisps that we have both... we are both on our second week of playing this game.
Yes.
You are getting pretty close to the end.
I do believe
I am.
You
said.
And
I unfortunately am not too much further than I was last time, but I did the next big boss fight since the point I was at last time. So I've done the first Wisps. And the boss fight that's associated with that, and it was a pretty brutal one. I think I saw some people saying that might be the hardest boss. I could see that. A lot of times in these games, the hardest boss or section or whatever is very rarely actually the end of the game. Usually there's one, and some things will stump some people and then not stump others, and vice versa.
Yeah, especially with that boss, because the way the game works at this point, you have 3 different ways you can go, 3 different wisps you can find. You can do them in any order, and you get health and energy and stuff built up, whether by finding the other wisp, because you get 1 energy, 1 health whenever you find one, as well as the collectibles you find that increase it. Yep. So for some people it's easier because you got more health and energy when you go into that fight, and the people like us, that's the first one. Yeah, and as far as I know, it's not like there's no level or anything. There's not really any scaling.
It's kind of like Breath of the Wild, where depending on what path you go, it might be easier, harder, whatever. And some of the later bosses might be easier to us, whereas other people are like, "What? That boss was so hard," because they went to it first. I think probably most people went to the boss that we did first because it's right underneath where you get that quest. So
and it was for me, it was because I got it there. I remember okay, I remember that spot's particular. It's okay, I know you're gonna have to go down there. And yeah, it's obvious.
Apparently the spot that I immediately went to is apparently where you go after you get all the wisps, because I went through all this platforming and they got there and they're like, oh no, you gotta get all the wisps before you come back here. But Jeff, how are you enjoying it since you played more than me?
So good.
Yeah,
so good.
All your compliments about it before, about the platforming and the art and the music and everything, is that still
of course, I just went through a sweet escape thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still there, still in the game.
This game is, I mean, this studio in both of these games is very good at making like scenes like that feel like climactic and like I gotta move.
Yeah,
you know?
You gotta. I mean, there's slight room for error, but you gotta be on top of it to get through those things.
Yeah, and it can definitely, with the just not many indie games, and I know this has like some Microsoft backing, but it's still like a smaller studio, or even just like 2D platforms.
Yeah, I always want to say this is Ori is owned by Microsoft.
Yeah,
the Moon Studios just isn't.
Right, not really an indie game. I should more just say 2D platformers. Not many of them have this type of like orchestra behind them. Mm-hmm. So like these moments, I mean, obviously the visuals are also like freaking Pixar movie levels, but then the orchestra kicks in and some of these moments, it's just like, it just feels epic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I just remember something. I'll just go ahead and say it here. You know, you went to that, what was the area called? The water area?
Or whatever. Yeah. Luma Pools.
Yeah. Luma Pools, and you couldn't find the wisp or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were able to do this, but you got to talk to someone, I think, first before you can actually do the thing to get the wisp.
Okay.
You got to find someone else first.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the thing, and I still don't know. Maybe it has to do with that. Maybe it has to do with me not talking to certain people. But when I got that quest to like go find the 3 wisps, it came up on the map, and it put markers on the map like way off into the black where I hadn't discovered stuff, and be like, oh, this is where that wisp is, this is where that one is. It did all that, and I stopped playing for that day, and when I came back, those icons have just never been back again. Like,
I have no idea what's up with that because they never went away from me.
And even when I was down there with the spider, there was never a quest marker. I got the wisp. I did the thing. Everything happened.
It's not locking you out of it.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. Like, so I don't really know what direction to go with some of these. I know that one said it's in Luma Pools, so I know it's there somewhere. But I guess
it's not the biggest deal necessarily for you to do them, because, like, at the very least, once you talk to the map maker and you get those maps, it's usually pretty obvious where each one is.
I mean, I'm sure I can look online and find it or something, but I'm assuming that's a bug. I'm assuming I didn't miss something, because like I don't see why it would have showed and then went away. You know, that'd be
again,
weird.
They never went away from me.
Yeah, but I'm also really enjoying the game. We don't have to spend too much time on it now, because I'm sure we'll talk about it more once we both finished it, which will surely happen in the next few weeks. For me, that deadline is Final Fantasy VII Remake is my hard deadline. I'm sure I'll be done with it by then, but
I'm hoping to maybe finish it tonight.
Yeah. And then Jeff might be playing RE3 if he can get done with RE2.
I got time for that.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll mix up the order, because I just mentioned it. So speaking of RE2, I just want to very briefly talk about Resident Evil 2, because I just started it the other night. I like to play games at my sister's, so we played and beat Control, and now we've moved on to Resident Evil 2. I only played about 2.5 hours, so I'm still pretty early on and everything. I finished the first like main objective that you had to go through, like the first area of the police department or whatever thing. You had to explore like the first 3 floors to find all these things and piece together this one central puzzle. I did that central puzzle.
Yeah. Right now, I think.
Yeah. And so that's where I'm at, was like right at the end of that. And I really don't want to like flesh this opinion out very much, because I really do think that it's going to age poorly, and I do not want to be like held down on this opinion. So I really don't want to drag on it.
Mickey, hold to everything you say.
So far, I'm not super digging it. Like, I like it, but so far, like, it's just, it feels like a horror game where it's like, yep, I get I mean, it is designed well, like, where whenever I encounter zombies, like, I have just enough ammo to get through this, but not enough to feel powerful. And, you know, like, it's paced very well, and I definitely understand the, like, appeal to it and everything. Just so far, a lot of the zombie encounters, like, they've already kind of lost their scare factor for me, and more it's just like annoying. Like, all right, get out of my freaking way. Like, it's just so hard to get down and everything. And like, there just hasn't, like, I know it's weird to say with 2.5 hours, but it felt like a long 2.5 hours because like there just was not any variety whatsoever in the actual zombies, and the puzzles were just very kind of like, find this thing. You found the thing. Now take it back here. Put it in. You did it. Now find this thing. I mean, they were just not very interesting puzzles. Again, 2.5 hours. I'm sure this will get better, but
the curse of 2019 continues.
Man, I really, really do not want to be like held down on this one. It's just like, you know, if I was playing this on my own, like I would be like, 2.5 hours of this, like, apparently pretty short game, and I'm not super enjoying myself. I'm not enjoying myself, but it doesn't feel like this is one of the best games of 2019. Well, I guess maybe it does for me. Yeah, but I definitely get it. I'm gonna give it the time, obviously, and me and Jenny both enjoyed it. It's just, I will say, whenever you got I was about to say clicker. It's not a clicker. What's the thing that like crawls around on all fours and crawls on the ceiling and everything? The Resident Evil enemy. Like, if I said the name, you would know. I think it's a pretty normal Resident Evil enemy. When that thing came out, I was like, ooh, jeez. Like, that was stressful.
Kill it with fire.
Like, more of that, and less just random zombies all the time.
Here, so no Mr. X yet?
No.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I really do think it's going to get better. It's going to get better. I think it's supposed to be kind of slow paced. And there's also a chance that this is just not my type of game, which, I mean, it really is. And like, this type of game is not normally my thing. So this might not just not be my jam, or I might absolutely love it by the time I talk about it next week and the week after. So we'll see. But let's move on. Last thing, to the Steam Game Festival, which you can go, like I said at the top, you can go watch us play some of these games. We played a handful of games. What did you think overall about the selection of games that we played, and how did you enjoy them?
I enjoyed them fine. I think there's, as far as overall, the games that are on there, good variety in there as far as the kind of games that is offered. I know you didn't get to see the full kind of breadth of it, but I at the very least went through all the pages for every game to see if it's, you know, be interesting for us to stream or interest us. I mean, like, one thing we didn't play, there's a dating sim for when you're dating old people, you know. Something
Dream Daddy, but old people.
Other crazy stuff, more platformers, more like simulator games and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
mostly indies. For the vet, or pretty much all of them are indies.
All indies, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as talking here, I figured I'd be talking about the 4 that we probably played the most.
Yeah,
don't have to do it for long. But.
Yeah, let's start with the big hitter for us, which is Spiritfarer, which is a game that we've been looking forward to ever since that Microsoft conference. I think we were immediately, like, a lot of people were talking over this game because of Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Right before it. But I think me, you, and Jacob, I think it was Jacob with us, or whoever it was, Will, or it was the whole panel was like immediately, like, this art style looks awesome. And then you can immediately tell, like, oh, this is going to be a sad game. This is going to be a bittersweet game, a game that, like, appears happy.
What's with this furry shit?
And then has to do with people dying. And I think this demo was good and potentially not enough to sell people. I think it should have maybe at the end, like, I knew they were going to do kind of a cliffhanger thing at the end, but it should have been a little bit more, and then cliffhanger, you know, like, because it ends, I mean, spoilers, whatever, it's the demo. It ends with, obviously, one of the people that you were talking to the whole time is moving on, like moving to the afterlife, basically. And it had a cool little animation, but I was expecting a little bit more. I knew that's where the demo was going to end, but I just wanted, like, You know.
Yeah, they're always getting at like there's this whole big animation for people passing on, but it kind of stops before it really gets into it.
It feels like you're just at the start of that animation, and it's like, boop, thank you for playing, and it just wasn't quite enough for that cliffhanger. And I think it feels like it's going to be a weird game to demo.
Yeah,
because it seems like it's a lot about just kind of living in the world and like
living in the world and doing little stuff like planting all that stuff. We planted some little gardens and all that, and there's obvious little we got some little quests for us, the characters that were on our little boat that we do, and obviously the game is probably what it's going to try to do is you spend a lot of time with these characters,
right? And
then they move on instead of the 30 minutes we probably played of this demo,
right?
For the one character to pass on, we didn't get that much time with them, which I don't blame, put on the developer or anything. It's a demo, and this is probably like a demo that's available like at trade shows and stuff that they just we're just putting on here as well.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, it's nothing against the game. I think it's just a hard game to make a demo that really captures the vibe completely. But I got what they were going for, and I definitely think it's a game I could enjoy a lot. I think it has like some kind of management elements, but it doesn't seem too overboard with it. Like, I still expect this to be a relatively short, pretty, short and sweet experience for the most part. And I'm not I don't think you should go into this expecting there is platforming light, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be mostly story stuff. Like, you can jump from platform and do these different things, but it's not like there's obstacles and you're collecting all these things or whatever. It's a lot more about just you're talking to this person, you're building up the ship. You can choose where everyone's room goes, so you can customize the ship in your different ways. But already, I'm already really like the writing, like that frog guy. Already he had a lot of personality, and you would do things, and he's really excited about certain things, and like worried about other things, and you can kind of see people's emotions and how they feel about things or whatever. I definitely think it's a game that has a very high potential to have a surprising emotional impact.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, again, there's a little taste demo. I agree with you. I like what I saw, and for us specifically, we're probably going to be looking at this game no matter what. But it is on Game Pass day and date. So, I assume me and you are going to be playing it no matter what.
Yes.
Next game, Superliminal, I forget. I should be pronouncing this one.
Yeah, I've been saying Superliminal, but I kind of feel like that sounds wrong. But
yeah,
it's the optical illusion weird game.
Yep, we played that for a little bit. It was fun. Definitely some weird things. Like, there was one part that we got stuck at, and Darby's like, can't you just do this? It's like, maybe. And I'd even see if that was an option, but then we got into the right space and we were able to do exactly what Darby said.
I definitely think there's you're gonna get stuck at weird parts of this, and I see this game getting pretty damn hard as far as a puzzle game, but it absolutely has. In puzzle games in modern time are kind of crowded, or at least good puzzle elements within another game or whatever. So you have to stand out. And I think this does it kind of like Baba Is You. This it's a puzzle game, but it's a very unique puzzle game.
Yeah, Baba Is You, the hook of it is very simple and very easy to grasp, and you get it right away what this game is about. And just the way they make the puzzles around that are creative. I mean, we're early on, so the stuff we did was pretty basic, but even from seeing from extra trailer footage and all that kind of stuff, we see how this game can evolve.
Right. Yeah, I think a lot of people will probably really like this game. If you like The Witness and some other ones like that, it's going to be kind of slow paced, I imagine. There's going to be some brain teasers, but just there is something very cool about you grab this object and then you hold it up and it becomes bigger because the perception of it and everything, bigger or smaller. It's gonna get cool, I'm sure. Yeah. I hope it's long enough. The playthroughs I've seen, I imagine those are still just the demos, but they were just an hour or two. But it was cool.
Carrion. Played this one.
This is the Devolver Digital reverse horror game where you're playing as the
monster,
the terrible monster that's eating people and everything. So it's kind of the opposite of what you would think.
They start out, I think, the right way, where you are the monster and you're just overpowered for the first couple sections where you're just devouring people left and right, slinging their bodies everywhere and all that.
And you need that. You
need that. You're like, oh yeah. And then but you don't want it to be just that. And what I liked about the demo, it did get into like, okay, this is how this is going to be an actual game, not just some kind of murder simulator, where there are actually enemies that will give you trouble. There will be traps and everything. There is exploration and all that, and little puzzles you got to solve. Yeah, and that's the kind of thing I think I needed and wanted to see from the demo, and I got that.
Yeah, I definitely feel better about the game now after the demo, because this was always a game that it's a very cool premise, but is it going to really fulfill that, or is it going to get kind of boring? This definitely seems like a premise that could be fun at first, but then gets kind of old, or it just overstays its welcome in one way or another, because it's a cool, unique idea, but obviously you can't platform in here. You're kind of just going wherever you want to go. So you got to find other ways to make it challenging, and it definitely positioning mattered, and you were already getting some cool upgrades. I'm hoping this game is not super long. I'm hoping it's kind of a nice tight
it's pretty
thing.
Short,
but yeah, I'm definitely pleased so far. It's pretty chaotic and crazy.
Yep. Last game I have on here is Haven.
Is that the one with the couple having CX?
Yeah.
This is the couple in space, some space thing that they were left there for some reason. They definitely hinted at not being happy at the people who left them there or something. It was there was definitely something,
or they were escaping from somewhere, and just they kind of crashed there, and maybe their hope of getting off for people they don't want to see.
Right.
We had a little thing where the girl is like, I'll kill them.
Yeah. Which, this is a game that I feel has a lot of potential, but obviously this demo just did not really there's this game could be terrible, and this demo didn't really do enough to convince me that one way or the other in this game, because I think the relationship between the two characters, obviously we were making a lot of jokes because we were on stream. I actually think it was pretty cool. I actually like the writing between them a lot. It's very young people, young relationship, talking or whatever. And obviously the overworld and everything, it's very indie game looking, but for what it is, it looks cool. I just worry about there not being a lot of variety, and we didn't really get to see combat hardly.
Yeah, there's combat in there, but I said, we're playing demo. This could be one of those demos where it's actually an hour of the game or something and gets into it. Yeah. It's a pretty slow build, which is going to be fine for this game, but just for the purposes we were doing it didn't really work for that, and I'm not going to completely, shun the game or whatever because of it. Definitely want to see more from this game, because like you said, it had some nice writing from what we saw and all that. Just want to, see more for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I it's one that I probably will pay attention to, because I enjoyed the two characters a lot. Yeah,
and even just you kind of float the way you can walk normally around in the overworld, or you can kind of do a little flying thing,
Dragon Ball flying.
Yeah, and do all that, and I can see how doing that into combat can be very interesting. And I saw a little cute thing, if you get enough close to the two characters, close enough, they hold hands. I think I noticed that.
Yeah, they definitely leading into them being a couple.
Yeah, and just the loading screen thing, just little cute things like the girl cutting his hair and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the relationship is definitely on point. It's just is the combat atrocious? It might be. I don't know. You probably need to see.
You don't know.
You need to see. But yeah, those were all the games we played. There's definitely other games to check out there, but that's what we got.
Those are the ones that we played on stream that I would say we put significant time in.
Yeah. There were a few others, but these are the main ones.
There was that fighting game.
There was that fighting game. I think that'd be better in Kyle Bosman's hands as far as the stream goes.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff.
Well, Darby.
Let's get into some PS5 news. News jingle.
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
So there was a thing.
There was a thing.
Mark Cerny whispered sweet nothings into our ear for an hour. Gave us some nice ASMR with his soft, delicate voice.
At least he has a backup for when this Cerny thing doesn't pan out.
He's golden. He just whispered about Knack in my ear as I go to sleep, dude. I'm ready. I'm good to go. So what do you want to talk about some of the actual, like, the little pieces of news here first, and then talk about what we think of this whole talk as a whole?
Okay, I say we go the talk of this whole, because then the actual specs can lead into the next thing, which is the Xbox. We kind of combine those two.
All right, so obviously this is a thing that was supposed to happen at GDC, and GDC got canceled, but they still wanted to have these things or whatever. So, and definitely in a way, I feel bad for them, because this event was always, because of the circumstances, going to be given way too much like hype and eyes in general, because now it's not part of GDC, it's the separated, this is the first PS5 event, oh shit, sound the alarm bells. So then whenever you get in here and it is like about the most technical nerdy speech you could possibly get, it's going to get criticism. And so in some ways I feel bad for them. In other ways, they have to know that this is the first time they're showing off the PS5. Like, this is the first event that they're like talking about it in some way. Mm-hmm. And like the way this whole event was, like, it didn't feel like it was for anyone, you know, like even game devs. It was just a very weird event. It was just like kind of an hour of like rambling, not a whole lot of structure to any of it. It was just odd.
Yeah, it was a little odd. I do think people hyped themselves up way too much.
Oh, they did.
Like, I've seen some people, I don't know, maybe I'm just the outlier here, but and they could have done it better, I still think. But I've seen a bunch of people like, man, they should have said what exactly this was and all that, and they should explain it better and all that. It's like, I thought they made it pretty clear what this was. Whether you think this was the right move, which is a whole different discussion.
Yeah, that's
which we'll get into. As far as this presentation, I think they set the right expectations. This was exactly what I assumed it was, like, to a T.
Yeah. Oh, it is like structural. Yeah. For your point, yes, I definitely agree. I think even in the context of what this is, it was weird. Mm-hmm. Just Mark Cerny just like rambling for an hour, even in the context of a GDC panel, feels weird. But yeah, I agree with you. For the event, I mean, as soon as we saw that this was happening, me and you were both like, why is everyone getting so hyped about this? This is
like streaming reactions like that. Even, and we were at work at the time anyway, but we didn't even worry about anything about it. It's like, okay.
we wouldn't have done it if we weren't at work. It's like, I'll read the IGN article. Like, me and Jeff, just like, we are in the business of video game hype. We'll have nothing to comment on. Like, this type of presentation will be like, all right, there's some specs, cool. We're not the guys you go to for that, and neither are the general public. They're not either. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I agree with you there. It is just, and I really do think this is something that in a few months, all these conversations are going to be completely obsolete, because Sony is definitely going to start their marketing machine for the PS5 at some point. They still have time to do that. Like, we are a little bit later than we normally are for a console generation. I feel like before, like, Sony's marketing cycle has not really begun at all.
Yeah,
they had like two Wired articles, and that's about it.
Again, here's the thing. Compared to Sony's, yes, it is a little bit later. We're in March. They had the presentation in February for the PS4, but like Microsoft, for instance, and I know they were the loser this gen, but it wasn't because of this. They didn't have theirs till May. So it's not like they're like crazy off.
Oh, right. I mean, and I think the general public knows about these things now, and the people that don't, they still have time to know.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to become obsolete. But in the moment when you're just looking at the two, it just feels like Xbox has more oomph behind their marketing.
Oh, yeah. As we'll get into when we talk about Xbox stuff.
Right. Just, I mean, their surprise appearance at the Game Awards, like, oh, we've actually seen the thing and all this. And even since then, with the way that they've like revealed things and had like videos and stuff, feels better than Sony. We got the two Wired articles a long time ago, and then now we got this super nerdy Mark Cerny thing. So it's just, in the moment when you're comparing the two, it just feels like the PS5 has this like lackluster thing. Like I said, there is more than enough time to change that. I just do wonder, what is Sony's approach with the PS5? Because, it's been very slow so far, but
It feels like their approach generally is just wait to see what Microsoft does and then respond.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. Because at some point you do have to start doing this because this is something you want people to be buying in the fall, hopefully. Barring coronavirus. But, you know, like I said, there's still time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you want to talk about some of the actual things?
Sure.
In here.
Yep. Road to PS5 thing. I just got the some of the stuff here. General things. We can get into the whole comparison with the flops. A little
Flop
after
comparison.
This stuff.
Hot
We're not going to get too deep into all that technical jumbo because Darby and I have no idea what we're talking about.
3 hours of flops ahead of you.
Yep. As just general things. Load times are 100 times faster than PS4 with things like, you know, saying like downloads will be faster. Actually loading stuff in the game will be faster.
I do legitimately think that's going to be the biggest thing of these new consoles.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, it's not an overblown thing. I just played Control. Sweet baby Jesus, those load times were awful.
Yep, and hopefully stability will be much better.
Hopefully.
So during the presentation, and this was a... Okay, wait. I'll just say this thing and then we get into the next point. 3D audio was also something that Sony went into a good bit, which sounds neat. The whole taking pictures of the ear thing or whatever and all that.
He wants your ears.
He wants pictures of your ears, people.
NAC 3 is just... in NAC 3, NAC is going to be comprised entirely of everyone's ears that they sent to Mark.
But as someone who is a fan of VR, 3D audio... Yeah. I'm all for it.
When I think of like Hellblade's binaural audio mixed with like a VR type thing, it'd be dope.
Too bad that won't happen on this system.
Nope.
Yep. So that stuff was neat and I'm all for it. And then some controversy came with this. Said during the presentation that they tested the top 100 most played PS4 games and said they got most of them working on PS5. But later said most of the Sony in general said this, that most of the PS4's 4,000 games will be backwards compatible or playable through that.
Yeah, so this means that backwards compatibility is not just it's backwards compatible like we all assumed it was. And like, I'm sorry, Sony should have known that we would assume that when you just say it's backwards compatible.
So here's the thing, and even I think Microsoft has had a little problem with this too. Well, Microsoft done a lot better at it. I think this is just the problem with Sony. And again, we can get back into the way they've been messaging PS5 thing. It hasn't been great. What you even think they had to show? Like the way they were messaging this whole thing has been terrible. Yeah. Like throughout the whole thing, people are still confused.
Yeah, it's still don't know. And like I remember, like it was like Nabil or one of them like tweeted something. It's like, oh no, that's not right. Tweeted this. Oh no, that's not right. Tweeted this. It's like, I don't know what's right anymore. I don't know. God, I don't know.
Yeah, and again, the whole thing about just testing the top 100 PS4 games, and most of them seem to work. That kind of thing is like, no. I think it was. People thinking that there's going to be like 100 at most backwards compatible was the kind of natural thing. The way they said it.
Yeah, when you talk,
I get what they mean now, but the way they said it was not good.
Very, very not good. Because, and that's what this is the type of thing that I mean is just. At this time, they've had such little communication that obviously this Mark Cerny thing is going to be taken for more than it should. And when you say things like that, you should Mark Cerny should be aware of what's in the public and what's not. Yeah. So when you say things like that, it's like, oh God, so there's only going to be like the Call of Duties.
I'll say like a quarter of these would be Call of Duty games.
Yeah. It's like, so it's not actually backwards compatible at all. It is, but it still is a bummer that it's not just like I was assuming that it was just going to be it just works. It's just you can play all the previous ones, you can pop it in the PS5 or download it onto the PS5 and you're done.
So I kind of thought that for a little bit, but kind of more recently, I can't even remember necessarily why I thought this, to be honest. And I don't, I get why you thought there'd be this, but I guess I just read like a particular tech thing that maybe you didn't, that kind of made it sound like it wouldn't be that easy. Probably would definitely not be that easy.
Yeah.
But that's one of those things we're not tech people. We're like,
yeah. But also, just the bad thing is now it has me because they've been so kind of like mysterious and just like not clear with their messaging. Now I'm just hoping that backwards compatibility means that I can take my PS4 library and put it on the PS5, not, hey, all the PS4 games are up for sale on the PS5. Because I'll be pretty livid if that's the case. If it's like, we want you to rebuy all these games. It'd be like, that's not backwards compatibility, really. That's me having to buy this shit again, you know? Like, no,
you got a good point there. I was going to say, no, it sounds like they're doing, the whole thing where you just put the disc on the thing, but I don't know for sure. I think part of that is me projecting what Xbox has said, was pretty much has said that.
Right.
With the games be backward compatible and projecting onto Sony.
Sure about PS4 or PS5, whether it'll read PS4 discs. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't, then boy, they really screwed up this messaging, because they pretty much said before that it was backwards compatible, which we don't know. It probably will play the PS4 games, and you probably will be able to carry your PS4 library over, but it's a problem that I don't know that for sure. It's a problem.
Yeah, and here's the thing that's very unfortunate, that and just go on to the way they presented this thing is weird, because they had that graph thing that showed the backwards compatible thing, and like it said PS5 and the PS4 Pro and PS4, and then there's all that space there at the bottom where you're thinking they're about to pop up PS3, PS2, and PS1 stuff, and it's just nothing left on that nothing left on that chart thing or whatever, that graphic, and you're like, weird.
It just seems like if you really are completely backwards compatible, just like bust that out, be like, boom, we got it. It's just the uncertainty is just not a good sign. But
no,
oh well. Yeah, I'm sure. When do you expect to see more PS5 news?
I expect to see something, maybe kind of at least something somewhat significant before around E3 time, or what time E3 would be.
Yeah.
If not right after.
Yeah, I'm still expecting
if they still try to do the whole wait on see what Xbox does thing, so they can just kind of respond. That seems to be their MO for a lot of this, and it's kind of annoying.
Yes. I mean, Sony in general is just very weird right now. Like they're not very like vocal.
Yeah.
They're like the top leader in games, but they're like kind of quiet a lot of the times, just as far as their messaging is weird.
Because they're in the lead, they don't have to.
Well, that's how you lose the lead.
I'll say we kind of been switching off.
We've kind of done this before, and then they come out. The PS5 is $700. It's like history repeats itself.
Yeah, well, luckily I don't fear that.
No, I don't either. Obviously, whatever they do, I think it'll probably happen in May and June. And obviously, at this point, it's pretty safe to assume it's not going to be a physical event.
Yeah,
just because of coronavirus and everything else. So it's going to be another, at least like, I know it's a dumb thing that doesn't really matter, but it kind of does matter as far as marketing it. We've seen the Xbox. We have not seen the PS5. We haven't seen the design. I know the design ultimately doesn't matter, but it kind of matters in the dumb marketing way.
The dumb market, and the marketing is like, oh, the Xbox Series X is real. We're actually seeing, and we'll get to more like it's real stuff from the way that Microsoft has been promoting this. When for PS5, the most we've seen is kind of a thing for Spider-Man and that one Godfall or whatever the hell game announced.
And it kind of matters that people on Facebook and Twitter can see pictures of the Xbox One X and they'd be like, oh, the new Xbox, look at it. It looks different.
Look at this cube.
PS5 is like a logo and like, you don't know.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the Xbox Series X...
We got more information for that, too.
Or as Maximilian dude calls the Xbox sex.
Yes, the Xbox sex. Okay, we can talk about a couple things, and then we can get into spec comparisons. So one thing I really like that they just went ahead and throughout this show, like, hey, this is a console, is showed video showing off load time differences and how the quick resume thing works. Have you watched these videos? I assume.
I at least saw the quick resume thing.
Okay, well, the loading time thing is side-by-side TVs, one Xbox One X and Xbox Series X. State of Decay 2, the loading time was a difference of 40 seconds.
Which is crazy. I mean, and I believe it because like modern games on the PS4 are It's getting absurd. Loading
No,
time, so I believe it.
Another thing, and the quick resume thing, I think was definitely, seeing that in videos, like, this is really neat. Don't know how much I'll use it, but one of those things, maybe once I had access to it, I mean, we're not getting Series X, but still just the idea of it in general, I would use it more where they were literally just flipping through 5 games and just starting in the middle of the game.
I think it's like
quickly.
As someone who currently has 73 open tabs on my phone on
Dear
Google
Lord.
Chrome, I can see myself using this.
I don't even have one tab open right now.
I've had more than that before. Once you get past 100, it stops keeping count. I could definitely see myself doing it potentially.
Yeah.
If you're just playing something, you're like in the middle, you're not at a save point, or you have to leave, you can go and then you can start something.
Or
else
you don't have to worry about, or just doing it because you can, so you don't have to worry about. Because some games, it'll be less of a problem with these consoles, but sometimes they can take a while for the game to just start.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it'd be cool. Obviously, I don't play Overwatch on my PS4 anymore. But if I did, you can be playing your single player game while you're waiting for your friend or whatever. You can pop over and play Overwatch and then pop right back into your game. You don't have to close this game to open Overwatch. You can just be like, oh, you're ready to play? All right, boop. It's a simple thing, but I think it's cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I hope the PS5 has it.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that worries me about like them not having like those kind of a feature like that is they haven't mentioned it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the biggest deal, but it would be cool, though.
We also got to look at the controller. Yeah, boy. More feeling like this thing is actually real.
That's another, like, it's just, that Xbox just feels like way more tangible right now.
It's got a new D-pad. This is the spec page.
Oh, yeah.
The second
I've
link,
seen
I believe.
This before, I just wanted to look.
Or maybe it's not. Maybe I took the controller thing off. Apologize.
It's fine.
Ew, that white screen. Haven't seen that in forever. New D-pad. It kind of has a little caved-in thing with the button, caved-in thing in the middle to apparently help you move things around easier and all that. Easier to hold for people with smaller hands.
You small hand people.
Man, you finally got it good. It has a share button now. Finally, a button we've all been waiting for. The share button.
The most important button in gaming.
And other Xbox controllers, it'll be usable on multiple devices. I'm pretty sure they announced a while ago, like, I'd be able to use this controller on my Xbox One.
Oh, that's good.
And you can use your Xbox One controller on
this. That's good. That's very
good. And we could use it on our laptops and all that kind of stuff, just like our Xbox One controllers.
That D-pad is a tad weird. But I'm sure it feels better, just with the sticking up on the edges, and everything is like a tad weird.
I really like the Xbox One controller. I'm trying to think. I think D-pad is one of the things I really don't care for as much. Then again, if I'm being honest, I don't play as many games that I would use the D-pad too much.
No, I'm not either. So, I do overall. I've always liked the Xbox controller a lot.
And, I just kind of like it from the standpoint of they didn't really change much as far as the overall design. Like, it's a new controller, so we have to change everything. It's like, nope, it's an Xbox controller.
If it ain't broke.
Yep. Yeah, stuff is cool. And now we can look at them specs.
Spec time.
Spec check. We're not going to go over literally everything.
We're going to go over literally everything.
Yeah. Because I have no idea what most of this means. for RAM for both of them, they both have I'm using IGN, by the way, because they have a pretty comprehensive one. 16 gigabytes GDDR6 RAM. They both have that, but PS5 has 256-bit on it. I don't know what that means.
The biggest thing that I don't think we need to go through like all this.
No, that's what I'm just saying. Just as an example.
Well, because me and you don't know. The biggest thing is the SSD, is the solid state drive, which I'm sure that is a huge reason for the load times. The load times being so good. I mean, that's the same thing. Like Ori is running better on your computer than mine because you have it on the solid state drive where it it can read the game immediately rather than having to like read it from the hard drive that's on there. That's huge. I mean, that's what PCs come with, like gigantic solid state drives nowadays, and like it's And from what everyone said, like the ones on both of these systems are huge and like really, like that's I think the thing that I can understand to a point.
Yeah,
like, I know from this. Yeah,
and then Xbox Series X, more teraflops, better console.
But as Mark Cerny tried to explain, but I'm too much of a dum-dum to really get it, he said, teraflops, not all they're cracked up to be. That's not the most important thing, apparently.
I was to say, was it like something about the solid state drive on the PS5 will make things even, run faster.
Well, this is another thing that like Jason Schreier said that he's talked to on his podcast.
I think I actually...
Yeah, but he said he's talked to a lot of like game developers who said they're kind of frustrated with Sony because like Sony actually, a lot of game developers say the PS5 is actually the better system overall. Like, it's close, but it's actually the better system. Sony is just not marketing it very well. Like right now, it's like, oh look, they have more teraflops, so they win. Sony's not doing a good enough job at saying it's showing like they don't have the higher number there. But from what I've heard from I've heard Jason Schreier said the game developer says like that's not the most important thing. It has
no. It's pretty much Jason just retweeting. So and John Linneman, Dark1X on Twitter at Dark1X, who are saying the solid state drive makes things really fast on there, even faster than Xbox Series X. And Jason tweeted a little while ago that people were really excited for the PS5 if they had their hands on it, and he retweeted us saying, when I said yesterday that a developer working with the PS5 called it the most impressive console in 20 years, this is a large part of what they were talking about.
Right.
That was solid state drive.
And like that's just the thing that does kind of suck about Sony's marketing is you're not feeling that.
Yeah.
If this is the most impressive console,
yeah, I feel like what the presentation would need to make people feel even, at least a little better than that is you don't even need to show the physical console to do this. Just again, show something like that Spider-Man thing where you just show the difference in load times.
Yeah, and that whole time the market starting, I was waiting for at least something. There, like I wasn't expecting new games or anything, but at least like show Spider-Man or something else to kind of like show something that you're talking about. But.
Yeah. But, and again, this is me kind of talking, hearing secondhand stuff because I don't understand this shit. It sounds like potentially, as far as the solid state drive and making things go faster, that won't really affect third parties significant too much because they're already putting stuff on multiple consoles. It will mainly be Sony's first party studios that will take full advantage of it.
Yeah,
I mean that makes sense, but as far as comparing stuff as far as if you're mainly into third parties, which one's better, that solid state drive may not be in a big of a point in Sony's favors as
right. I mean, for all third parties, they all have to work with the worst among them. Yeah, basically, because it has to fit on everything. And I mean, from everything I've heard, this is going to be another generation, a lot like the PS4 and Xbox One, where there are differences, but not so substantial that it makes that big of a difference. Yeah. It's going to be, somewhat.
Also, the other weird thing is for some reason there's 825 gigabytes storage. That's a random number on the PS5. Wow, this just 1 terabyte.
Weird. Yeah, I thought a terabyte at
it went minimum because Pro I believe has a terabyte.
Yeah. Like, I mean, my freaking 500 gig PS4 feels like way too small. Way too small.
Yeah.
If I tried to have Red Dead Redemption and Final Fantasy VII Remake on there at once, that's like half of my PS4's memory.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Is that all we got, Darby?
I think that's all the tech talk I have in me.
Okay.
Now let's talk about some actual video games, something my dumb brain can comprehend.
Darby, you know what I can't comprehend, though, related to this article?
What's that?
Why did Nintendo drop the Nindies name?
Because they're cowards, Jeff. Okay. They're afraid.
I'm glad someone's saying it.
They're
finally.
Afraid.
Yeah.
Reggie, he's afraid.
He's afraid.
Over at GameStop.
I mean, he might be afraid of something. We'll get to that.
Of the federal government coming knocking on his door.
Mr. Reggie? Okay, so anyway, Nintendo had one of their Indie World things, as they do on GDC week. This is an annual thing they do. And no surprise, it's really
it is known.
It is known that they will have it during this week. And they show off some games. I got the list of games here. Not gonna necessarily go through all of them, but figured we can kind of talk through some highlights, what we thought, all that overall presentation stuff.
Overall, I wasn't like blown away by this indie direct, and I have felt.
Where's Silk Song?
Yeah, seriously.
I think they said it was going to be a while, so
yeah, it's been a while. I have felt at least moderately blown away by previous ones. This one just didn't have much for me. I get they might have for other people, but from what I've seen generally online, a lot of people agreed it was like, yeah, it was there.
So potentially, I think the way it's going to work for some of these indie things is now that we're kind of farther out with the Switch, we will get less of these presentations if they keep the same frequency that blow us away. Because at the beginning of when we're closer to the Switch thing, it's like just getting these games, like getting Undertale or something that was huge, and now it's like we are getting these games, and now for a lot of stuff, it's these games being just smaller games kind of being announced in general.
Yeah.
While a lot of the bigger indie games, they'll probably mostly get dropped whenever they feel like it. Yeah. As we'll get to one later on, which would have been a dope way to potentially end or start this.
All right. I mean, the kind of honestly, video game announcement shows in general, I would say the hit rate is below 50%. And just when you come to indies in specific, there's just the whole nature of indies. There are a ton of them, and there's going to be a lot that just don't speak to you, and it's just going to happen. And it does, it is kind of. It's hard not to judge the last one. The last one of these ended with Axiom Verge 2. What? Yeah. Holy shit, really? This ended with Exit the Gungeon, which is really cool, but it's a game that's already existed, and it's coming to Switch. The Shadow Drop was really cool, but it's already been on PC.
And I don't know if it was the last two, but we've had Ori and Cuphead opening.
Oh, God, yeah. Seriously. But that's not to say there was nothing in here. I think first and foremost is what the fuck? It was Star something. What was it called?
That's not in this. We'll get into that's another news story.
Oh, is that not in this?
That's why I was just hinting at it. That one would have been cool to have in this.
Never mind.
Okay. Exit Gungeon, like Darby said, that was.
I forgot. We watched them back to back, so I kind of forgot it was.
We got the new game from Hello Games. I think it was announced beforehand. Before a little while ago. The Last Campfire. That looked neat.
It did.
Artsy. I think, and I think you said it during it, and I agree. You good. This is a smaller project after No Man's Sky.
I think it's smart because now no one can be snarky about it. And I'm not even saying they shouldn't be snarky about it. If they came out here and this was some big grand open world thing, I would not believe them at first. I would be I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
You can talk all you want. I'm going to wait until people get their hands on it and expose whether you're lying or not. I mean, I'm sorry, but they made up for No Man's Sky, and I'll give them credit for that, but they absolutely lied in order to get money, in order to get sales of that game, which is pretty shitty. So, I don't, I think it's smart to go for this smaller thing that, no one can really be that pessimistic about. It's just, it looks like a manageable thing. No Man's Hello Games has built up enough goodwill now to where it's you have interest in here, and you can have Sean Murray in your announcement video and not bring up the torches and pitchforks, which is a pretty big statement, compared to what this would have been in the past.
Yeah. So what do you think of the way the game looked?
I think it looks cool. I think it looks like a cool little game. I didn't think there was anything overwhelmingly special about it, but I think it looks like a neat little experience. It's one of those games that we're either going to hear everyone be oh shit, you really need to play this as a really special game, or I won't even know when it came out.
It'll come and go.
Yeah, it'll
come and go, or like you said, it'll be amazing. I don't expect that it's kind of this was horrible. It's I expect it to be a good game.
I think if I hear about this game, it'll be because it's amazing.
Yeah.
If it's not amazing, I just won't hear about it.
Yep. The game that opened it, Blue Fire, it's come out this summer as a time console exclusive. This is a game that, I want to see more for it, but as far as the type of game, it's I can get down with this. Kind of a 3D platformer, brawler type thing.
Yeah.
Seems up my alley.
It does look cool.
Same with Switch.
It was another one that looked like a Dreams game, though. You mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying, when I look at indie games now, I'm like, could this be made in Dreams? And
The answer is always yes.
Yes. You can make anything in Dreams.
Yep. So I will try to keep an eye out on that one. That was cool. I know I'm going to be starting going by game, but we're not going to continue to do this. Baldo, a very Ghibli looking thing.
I thought the art style of that was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And even some of the gameplay looks cool too. I'm definitely interested in that one. It's,
I knew this was going to happen, Darby, for the next game. I Am Dead, because I knew it was an Annapurna game. I knew your ears were going to perk up the moment you saw Annapurna, and then you kind of be at least a little deflated when you see the art style.
I think when I was watching, I literally said, "Ooh, you have my attention." And the second I saw the art style, I was like, "Ooh, you lost my attention."
It seemed like a pretty neat game. Just the premise of it. I'm
kind of confused as to what you're actually doing.
You're a ghost solving puzzles, and the guy solving the problems of the town or something. Solving some kind of mystery.
When's 12 minutes?
Where is 12 minutes?
Minutes?
There's a Cyanide and Happiness game, which kind of like going for a Stick of Truth style thing as far as the exploring element of this South Park games.
Yeah, it looks interesting. Probably will be more cringy than funny.
Probably.
But, yeah.
It's one of those things where I will look forward to maybe seeing a cute clip on the Twitters.
Yeah, just like I do with the normal Cyanide and Happiness.
Yep. Now I'm just going to bring this up because it's weird and confusing. Quantum League. That was that first-person shooter thing where apparently, like, in the different rounds, like, you have clones of yourself from previous rounds that reflect the movement of what you did in the previous round. Like, how does that work? What's the point of all this? Is it to confuse, like, the other team and think that, okay, that's the one or something? Or...
Yeah, so you're trying to kill them, but also move in a way to where you'll kill them the next time or something by doing this? Yeah, it's really strange.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it was more confusing to me than anything.
Yeah,
The Good Life made an appearance. Yay, let's go.
I'm sorry, The Good Life just looks bad. Is that bad of me to say? Am I wrong to say that? I don't know.
Let's cue the swearing game.
Yeah, it just looks. It looks so cheap. Like, it looks like a game. If sweary was not tied to it, no one would give it the first look. No, it would like it would pass by. You'd be like, all right, well. I don't know what that was. So, you would not be paying attention.
I would agree with you 100%. But I would also say the same thing, at least about the missing.
I don't know. I mean, the missing was more like just visually appealing and like struck me more than this game. I mean, the missing was like kind of grabs your attention with just the like weird body horror stuff and not really horror, but like the body mutilation, all of this or whatever. Like, say what you will about the missing, it's immediately like eye catching, and I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I want to talk about this. I see The Good Life as like, this looks like a cheap cat game, like cutesy cat game. And I'm sure it's going to be deeper than that, but at least on its surface. Like, the missing, I would be like, ooh, I want to talk about this. Like maybe not like super a lot or something, but it's at least like I'll remember that. The Good Life, if I didn't know it was sweary, I would not remember it. It would just be like, nah, that was that. So, just by looks, maybe it'll be a Doki Doki Literature Club ass thing where it like takes a turn, but at least on its surface, visually looks bad. What you're doing looks like it just doesn't look remarkable to me. Sorry, I hate to be bad on the sweary, but
Jacob has been reported to, and he's coming to kill you. This is apparently is a free moving out demo on the Switch Story, which we need to try.
Yep, that game looks cool. I think that's about it. Yeah. So cool indie direct. Hopefully, the second part of that whole rumor is true, and we get a normal direct this week.
Please. So here's the thing. And what I said earlier goes against the potential, like this meaning a direct. Because it's not surprising we had an indie direct this week.
Good GDC thing, yeah.
But compared to the other times where we thought that, I said there might be a direct, that was a lot of fan stuff and a little the weaker insider thing where the people that normally just jump on anything and kind of been-wise, like, okay, I guess I'll listen to you. There seems to be more to this one, hopefully. Fingers crossed. There are more people with credibility putting their, name out there.
You know me, every single time one of these things have come up, I'm like not even listening to you. I'm like, all right, Jeff, sure. The boy who cried direct. I mean, I don't believe any of this shit anymore. This is the most that I've like let myself like. I think it might happen because you did have was it Daniel Ahmad? It was like there was definitely some real people.
Well, this Jeff Grubb from Vince. Wait, is it Venture Beat?
Yeah.
Kind of the one who kind of started. It's like, okay, this guy's.
He actually is.
He's legit.
That's what he's doing.
And the last I saw from a couple of days ago, he's still saying, there's still a direct, and it's just kind of time because. Now, Animal Crossing's out. They have nothing with a date on it. Absolutely nothing. The only games they even have announced at this point are Xenoblade as far as when they might come out soon, and then stuff with a nebulous, like it just exists, things with Zelda, Bayonetta 3, and Metroid Prime 4. That is all they have.
Yeah, now we've talked about it over and over again. And I mean, that's kind of why, like, I mean, obviously you are way more than a Nintendo guy than me. I enjoy a lot of Nintendo stuff. You enjoy almost everything Nintendo does. I can't really, like, this whole time when you're like, oh my god, Direct, this might be a Direct. I've never really felt excited about this Direct. I'm kind of... I have to wait for the Direct to tell me why I'm excited, you know, because, and part of that is because, like, I legitimately can't even think what's in there, you know, like, I can't even think what's on the roadmap, so it's hard for me to get really excited because my mind immediately thinks.
Well, that kind of goes where you were saying, like, I just kind of enjoy Nintendo things just inherently.
Like, my mind immediately thinks it's going to be a lot of, like, small Nintendo stuff that I just don't give a shit about, you know, like that, or just weird stuff like that. There's going to be... I don't know, you know, like, obviously I am super excited for Breath of the Wild 2. I don't think we're going to see that here. And same thing for Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, things we would see here as well. Xenoblade, that's all rumors point to that. Everything points to that coming out in May. That would definitely be in there, 100%, no doubt. They changed now to the coming soon thing on their page to Xenoblade. Like Shulk, they had like Isabelle there.
It's coming.
They had Shulk. Paper Mario's been heavily rumored.
Yeah, which that would be cool.
Yeah. 2D, Metroid, all that kind of stuff. Just other things.
Right.
I mean, it could be anything.
Yeah.
Speaking of anything, GameStop thinks they can do that.
That's a good one. I was wondering where you were going with that. That was a good one.
So, anyways, just, start with this. We'll get through this, then we'll talk about it. GameStop all over the country stayed open despite orders by local government in some places. During the coronavirus, claiming they were essential retail.
Right.
Yes. States like California, Pennsylvania has suspended GameStop's business license.
Yeah, which is huge.
And this next part, because of Jason Schreier from Kotaku, GameStop will close all of its stores to customers tomorrow, which is now, switching to a delivery at the door service for locations that remain open. Company CEO George Sherman said in a letter to employees today that was obtained by Kotaku. Shoppers will be able to order games online by using the GameStop app or with QR codes at stores. They can then pick the games up curbside at the store that remain open through the coronavirus pandemic. Some states like California and Nevada have forced a struggling retailer to shut down its locations entirely despite GameStop's protests. Sherman also said that in the letter that GameStop will be giving 80 hours of extra paid time off to those employees at closed or closing stores who are eligible for it, and 2 extra weeks of pay to those who aren't. The CEO emphasized that any employees who do not feel comfortable going to work at stores during deliveries should tell their supervisors accordingly.
It just sucks because it's very obvious that the only reason they're doing this is because they were publicly shamed.
Yes.
I mean, like, it's pretty clear. I mean,
also, it's not necessarily that they were being publicly shamed. Well, I mean that's part of it, but it's more of the governments were telling them, you have to do this. And once their business size gets started, it's just like, I guess we got to do this.
Yeah, they were literally telling customers that if the cops come and try to tell you have to close, to say like, no, we're essential. Look at this document. It's like,
was there even a document? It's like, say, just tell them we're essential.
Or they said like tell them to call our headquarters or something if they keep pressing you. It was something like that. Like they knew this was a thing enough to where they told the employees like, you have to convince them to let you stay.
Which is not something the employees should even have to do.
I mean, like, obviously, I'm not taking it to like some people take it to the extreme where it's like, yes, like all GameStops everywhere should be closed down. Obviously, some areas are way more impacted at the current moment than others for the pandemic. And if the state is not telling you to close down, don't close down. Because I mean, that's the same thing. Like my mom's vet clinic. we never even come close to the 50-person limit for like a store or a gathering or whatever. Yeah. And I'm sure as outside of like Animal Crossing and Doom events, GameStop does not either. But if you're somewhere in California where the state is telling you all but essential businesses have to close down, I'm sorry, fucking GameStop, you gotta close down. You're not an essential business. Just like we would close down if the government straight up told us that.
Well, like, if South Carolina said that, I work at a sporting goods store. If that said, like, we would shut down because we're far from essential. People are acting like we're essential, though.
So is GameStop. GameStop is far from essential. And it's just so clearly a desperate corporation that knows that they can't afford this. They know that like that their margins are so thin that they're gonna collapse if this happens. But hey, if it's collapse or put your employees at risk, I'm sorry, but corporations don't give a fuck about you. I'm just saying, this is like it's a theme of my ramblings on this show, and it's the truth because it's just money talks more than your livelihood. And it's just so shitty. It's a really shitty thing. I mean, obviously, I'm glad that this got turned around, but like you said, it was pretty much because the government's like, hey, yo, no, seriously. We're taking your business license because you're not listening to us.
Yeah.
That company.
People, if you can help it, don't work at GameStop.
Yeah, try not to. I mean, obviously, our hearts go out to anyone working there who is like scared of losing their job and everything. But obviously, things like this have to change. You can't let corporations like this go unchecked because they'll do things like force you to go work in a lockdown in the pandemic.
Yes,
because that copy of Call of Duty is essential.
It's essential to my livelihood.
Essential.
You know what else is essential, Darby?
Turn-based JRPGs.
Exactly.
I don't know about the J part. Probably not. But for this specific game, turn-based RPGs.
Okay. This comes from Damon Hatfield from IGN. You may remember The Messenger, the 2018 Ninja M-Up that sliced between 8 and 16-bit art styles. Developer Sabotage has announced a prequel game that pivots to an entirely different genre, the classic turn-based RPG. Sea of Stars is set hundreds of thousands of years before The Messenger and follows two playable main characters as they train to defeat the villainous Fleshmancer. Sabotage says it is inspired by the classics, and at a glance it definitely gives off Chrono Trigger and Secret of Mana vibes. The turn-based combat features timed hits and active defense options, reminiscent of the systems in Super Mario RPG and the Mario and Luigi games. Sabotage's mission is to make games in retro aesthetics but modern design, and to that end, you'll notice some features right away that would not have been possible in the 90s games from which it draws inspiration. A dynamic lighting system renders a day to night cycle that creates realistic shadows you don't normally see in 2D pixel art games. The players have much more freedom to explore the environment and are able to swim across bodies of water, climb cliffs, or vault off ledges. Sea of Stars is still in early development and isn't planned for release until 2022 on PC and presumably next-gen consoles. A Kickstarter was just launched today where you can learn more. And little update. Let me pull it up for the Kickstarter thing to get people an idea where it's at. It's doing really well. It's at $206,249 of its $92,576 goal. So over double its original goal already. After a couple days.
Yeah, this thing looks dope. Oh yeah, this thing looks really sweet. It's right up my alley. Obviously, I am interested in The Messenger too, and I like 2D platformers as well. It's not that that's like not my thing at all, but I mean, listen to the shows, know my taste. I mean, turn-based RPGs are about exactly my jam, and just the art in this game is ridiculous. Like like on its surface, just Messenger aside, it's just like looks like a game I really want. It kind of reminds me of the spirit of Octopath Traveler, taking this retro aesthetic and like jamming like modern effects into it, so it like keeps its retro like core, but does things like they said that you that you're not used to seeing there. And this is like that, but just in a different way, where like the art is beautiful and everything, and just the lighting works so well with that thing, and just some of the details. Like I've said a bunch of times, I'm obsessed with the girl. There's a girl and a boy here. Like, I'm obsessed with her hair. Her hair looks so good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what did you think about all this?
Oh no, yeah, I'm with you 100%. This game looks great, and it's weird to think this is a prequel to The Messenger, which like in any way, shape, or form.
It's so interesting. Like, yeah, what do you think about following up the 2D platformer with this? Because like, I think it's really cool because it's kind of doing the same thing that The Messenger did for platformers for turn-based RPGs.
Yes. Well, shout out to Easy Allies. We watched a little bit of their preview. They got it to see videos of it and talk to developers before it was even announced. They pretty much said this was the game they had in mind before they even made The Messenger, but The Messenger was not necessarily easier, but they were able to create it quicker and all that kind of stuff to, you know, help funding and all that, and cheaper to make.
Right. Yeah. Which, yeah, it's kind of interesting that this is what they planned on doing, and then they made The Messenger. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, even in like setting, they don't look like they're connected. These two games do not look like they're connected because The Messenger is like this super ninja.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious to see if like the developer teased that all this thing was coming, and then people were like, "Oh, The Messenger Sabotage is making a new game. Oh boy!" And then they see this like, what?
There's definitely gonna be people who are disappointed. There's definitely gonna be people who enjoy the beat 'em up platformer thing that just don't get into turn-based RPGs, because turn-based RPGs is kind of one of those things you like or you don't. For me, this is like I'm a lot more interested now.
Yeah, the Kickstarter thing, you know, you can usually be wary of that because they don't always turn out well. But it's the fact of, even though it's a different genre, it is a developer of a highly regarded games. Like, it makes you feel better.
It does. And at least if you're someone who really liked The Messenger, but you don't like turn-based RPGs, it doesn't look, it's not like you're missing out on The Messenger 2. You know, I don't think it's going to be so tied into The Messenger that you feel like you're like missing something if you don't play this. Like, I think it's going to be a very loose tying. You know what I mean? Like, that would be kind of a bummer if like you love this game and then the story's being continued in this genre you hate. Kind of like I feel with Persona 5 The Scramble. It's like the story I love in one of my most hated genres. Like, yeah, it doesn't feel good. You know, at least this is not like that exactly.
Yeah. There's some. I just look for a curiosity because when I always look with these Kickstarter games, what's the lowest I gotta pay to actually get a copy of the game?
Oh, nice.
It's $18 US to get a digital copy of the game.
Not bad.
Not bad
at all.
So no, I mean, it's the worst thing about this is that it's 2022.
That hurts. That has to be like have we heard a game that has like said 2022? Like there's games with no release dates that might take that long, but that just sounds like I don't.
No, but I hand it to them to be forthcoming. Like, this is when it is. This is early. Despite what we're showing you, we're just reiterating this is early.
Yeah, this is literally all we have.
Yeah, probably about it. But I'm all for everything that's in like they've shown.
There was even like a cool anime opening thing that happened. Like that was like done in this like really cool art style. Yeah.
So we will keep updates. It might be a long time in between, but we will keep an eye out.
Probably shouldn't get too hyped.
But it's nice to have like some of these kind of game announcements sometimes, you know?
It is.
And all this crazy stuff.
Out of nowhere.
This would have been a nice game for the Nindies presentation. Though I guess they haven't confirmed it for Switch. They may not even know. So
yeah. I was about to say that could have been like the last thing, but yeah, maybe it's not.
Yeah. Okay. Mini topic thing or whatever. Wanted to do.
See, it's a little messed up. The air horn's a little messed up.
So, Darby, we got a new trailer for Guilty Gear Strive. We got new character announcements or old character announced coming back. We got Melia Rage and Zato 1.
Amelia Maxwell?
Yes, Amelia Maxwell from the Tales of Stylia.
Bay herself.
Yep. So yeah, new characters announced. They look really dope. This game's beautiful.
Absolutely stupid. It's just stupid how good the animation is.
So main reason I wanted to bring this, something I want to talk about for a little bit is, we can kind of go to a discussion. Our system works aren't great at reveal trailers. They're bare bones. They're just like do the bare minimum. I wish they showed at least a little bit more than, because this is 2 characters being revealed in a 1 minute trailer.
Yep, and like literally a 1 minute, no more. Yeah, like when Jeff said that at first, I was like, "What do you mean? It looked really cool." But once you explained it, I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah." I mean, the reason why it didn't jump to me immediately is because like I'm not keeping up with Guilty Gear trailers. Like I've probably missed several of these. It's not like something that I'm like looking at every single detail, but if I like took it to something I did care about, like Mortal Kombat, and if they were like, yeah, new Mortal Kombat trailer, here they are, they punch someone and they're gone. It's like, wait, what? Like I want to see their X-ray move. I want to see
the dude. Like imagine the Spawn trailer where it's just him not even saying anything, him just kind of really may say like one zinger, kind of walk up, hit them for a little bit, don't even see any of their specials and all that, and that's just the trailer.
And it's not like, I mean, sometimes there might be a character reveal trailer and then later a gameplay. Like, no, this was showing gameplay, just the absolute bare minimum, like you said.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't get a sense of how these characters play, either one of them.
Our system work in particular does, because, I've been watching these trailers. I followed them through Dragon Ball FighterZ. It was the same way. It's not, just kind of made a little mini conversation of what we want out of fighting game reveal trailers, who kind of doing best and all that.
Yeah, I think the best ones, because, like, you don't want it to, especially when you're revealing a character and it's supposed to be the super hype thing, you don't want it to feel like a clinical thing, like almost like the Smash Direct. You don't want it to be like, and then now here is the
forward
smash. This is the up smash. This is the. You don't want it to be that. You want it to be hype, and there's hype music, and everything is like designed in a cool way. Like, Maximilian Dude talks about like, designing fighting game trailers, and it's like it is, you're kind of like trying to do 2 different jobs at once. You're trying to like show the whole full kit, but also package it in a way that feels like kinetic, like everything just goes into that or whatever. So like I think that's what I want to see. I want to see them and it to like make me feel like excited that they're in this game, but I do want to see a pretty well-rounded, you don't have to show me everything, but I want to see like, okay, they're a fast character or they're a slow character, this is, they have these juggle moves, or they're more like technical and stuff, and then I want to see like their big move, like end it off with that, like just a nice sampler of everything.
They kind of go with 2 different in a way style trailers. 2 games we already talked about. Mortal Kombat, I think, is one does really well because it's normally doing an intro between the new character and an old character, saying a fun move, seeing a lot of their kit, but not necessarily everything. Seeing the X-ray / the fatalities, and then usually ending on one of their outros. Yeah.
They have a nice structure. It's like a pretty like tried and true structure.
Yeah, very meaty. You feel like you're full. And another one I think is really good that they normally do is the Smash Bros. Trailers, where if they want to do that, it is a cinematic. Like I'll use Banjo's as an example. You start with the cinematic, you may not know who it is, for example, or you might know right away. You get the cool little cinematic with characters reacting, and then it usually goes into gameplay where you see a good bit of their moves and usually the final smash, and then it ends again with a cinematic thing.
Right, that's another way to do it. Like Mortal Kombat kind of combines the 2, where it's like the epic reveal and you're showing the kit, whereas Smash kind of separates the 2. It's like this is the reveal of the character, and then now is the more like structured. Like pretty much whenever you get into the gameplay section of those reveal trailers for Smash, it's almost always the same structure, where like once you get in here, it's like, okay, here's their normal moves, here's a few of their smashes, and then we end on their final smash.
Maybe a cute little nod or 2.
Little skits like they do, and those cool things. That's a lot better than like the Guilty Gear trailer. Definitely feels like it's solely riding on the fact that we're just going to compliment the art style over and over again. And it's just, it's kind of acting like you already know the character and you already know what the moveset's going to be. Like, it's like, oh, look, they're back. You know what they are. All right, bye.
When it's like, for some people, that is the case. Though I have seen enough people be like, for some of these guys, like, they're pretty different.
That's a bummer, though. Of like, surely they've changed. Show me how they've changed, And especially if, like, from what I understand, it's not like either of these characters are a surprise, right? These are still...
So everyone predicted these were probably going to be next, because apparently what they're doing is pretty much just revealing the roster of the first Guilty Gear game.
So this is not some crazy new thing. So if it's not going to be some crazy new thing, then show me how they've changed. Show me how they're different.
Besides the design.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. This could be a quick little thing. Let's see. Sony removed the Super Mario creation for Dreams after Nintendo issued a complaint. The dream is dead. All dreams are dead.
All the dreams packed in.
It's dead.
I'm kind of surprised that it took this long.
Yeah, it's not surprising that it was Nintendo to pull the trigger on this, especially since there are a lot of Nintendo creations on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not all of them based on what I've seen. It was just one guy who made a Mario model that seemed to be, and put it up to like, hey, people can use this. I don't give a crap. I just made it. And then just taking that down because it's being used all over the place.
It's weird. It's like not like the first time that's happened, but it's a thorny situation because like I kind of get it. It like when me and you talked about this before. In a very weird roundabout way, it's Sony making money off of Nintendo's IP.
Yeah.
In a very weird roundabout way. That is just one of the many things that Sony's like, you can do anything. And by you can do anything, it's like you can recreate Nintendo shit. And that is part of this. That is one piece of the product they're selling.
Yeah.
So I kind of get it in that way. And it is very uncharted territory. Like no one really knows what to do with this. But in my head, this is almost more akin to someone drew fan art online and Nintendo said, oh no, you can't draw Mario.
No.
It's like they would never do that. This is kind of more akin to that than anything, I feel like. Mm-hmm. Because, they're not making money off of this. It is something that they created. Like the person created there.
Yeah.
It's not like Sony created. It's just something else. And, yeah, I don't know. What do you think about this?
I agree with you. It's a weird thing. I get it from the whole thing. It's like, Sony's in a weird way making money off their license. And, oh, wait, I don't know. This is uncharted territory. It's so weird. But, yeah, I get it from Nintendo's point of view. And like you said, it's kind of just fancy fan art that people can just kind of play around with. Like... And especially it's just the way those Mario levels are, they're kind of janky, so it doesn't really affect their brand necessarily. It's like people are gonna stop buying Mario games,
right? And it's not something that someone's going to mistake this for Nintendo.
Yeah,
it's not like it's that level. You know?
But potentially, and this is me kind of reaching in a way, but this might be some truth in it. People will get better at dreams. There might be a point where someone actually makes a pretty good like Mario game in there, and that might be Nintendo trying to stamp this out before they even have to worry at that point.
Yeah, it could. It's hard for me to defend it completely, even though like I don't know. I just want dreams to be open,
Yeah,
especially when no one's making money off of it anyway. It just kind of feels harmless.
Not yet. But even then, based on what we understood when we talked about last week, based on the guidelines that Dreams wrote,
right.
Mario stuff would not be eligible with that.
Right. You would not like its whole like you can make money off your creation. Obviously, Mario is not your creation.
Yeah,
that's not an original thing. Even if you made the Dreams version, that would not be covered under there.
Sinfeld, not original.
Not original. No, I mean, like just watching it, I'm sure a lot of people thought they were watching Seinfeld, but
yeah. You need to play that.
I need to play it.
We need to do that on stream.
Yeah. This is... I wonder, I wonder... I didn't really read too far into it. How exactly are they going about this? Are they, like, going at Sony for this? Like, telling Sony to take it down, I guess?
Yeah, it was kind of like this. Like, I just used the wording from the IGN article. I should probably give credit to that real quick. As far as, like, the complaint part, Joseph Snoop from IGN. Yeah, they just said after Nintendo issued a complaint, and the way they have a little picture here is they do the thing or whatever, and it says moderated or something.
That's a shame. That's a bummer.
So Darby, you want to talk about Overwatch?
I do want to talk about Overwatch, and I probably going to call an audible and maybe make this just this and the awesome news of the week the end of the podcast.
Okay.
There'll be plenty of time to talk about coronavirus and its impact on the video game industry.
That is fine with me.
So, Jeff, we got a new Overwatch character.
We have played said Overwatch character.
We have played said Overwatch character a fair amount. I played a lot on Friday.
Yeah, and also saw pros get a little hands-on time with.
Yeah, we finally got some pro Overwatch for the first time.
Echo is real, Darby. Echo is here. And I just thought about it more. Like, I'm glad I agree with that. Although I was thinking the same thing. So we just kind of do what we want to with it.
Yeah.
Get into all we want to.
And most of the stuff I want to talk about with coronavirus is like future stuff. So we can talk about that later. And people need a break from coronavirus. Let's talk about Overwatch. Yeah, so Echo is a character that like was first revealed in like the McCree Ash cinematic like 2 years ago or something, or a year and a half. It's been a while.
I kept on running. I know we didn't get too many characters between them, but everyone I guess they did say at the time Echo was not going to be the next one.
Yeah, they said it was not going to be the next one. I'm pretty sure they straight up said Echo's going to be in the game at some point.
Oh yeah. I know they said that. Like, I was waiting for let's go. Especially since I'm mainly a support guy.
Me too.
Most people assumed she was support, and like, okay, let's get enough support in there. But she's DPS.
No, as soon as I learned they're like, oh, it's gonna be Echo, and they started doing the tease, I'm like, hell yeah, new support, let's go. And as soon as I was watching that stream, they're like, and she's a DPS. I was like so deflated. I was like, oh, come on, I just want to support, please.
So I figure that people don't know. They're like double the amount of DPSs in this game.
There are 17 DPS, 8 tanks, and 7 support.
Yeah. So there's more DPSs than there are the other two classes put together.
Yeah. So we did not need another DPS, and that's as soon as I saw she's DPS, I'm like, why Overwatch? Why? Especially since this is going to be the last hero before Overwatch 2. But all that disappointment kind of faded away as soon as I saw her kit, and especially her ultimate. Oh, yeah. After I saw her old kit, I'm like, okay, this needed to be in the game. We needed this in the game. And Jeff Kaplan, in that whole thing, he said, hey, we're aware that everyone thought this was a support, and we're aware that we need more supports and tanks. It's like, we agree. And they said, we have lots of supports and tanks coming. So I'm like, all right.
All right, Papa Kaplan.
Unfortunately, it's not going to be this year, or unless Overwatch 2 is the end of the year, but it's at least going to be a while. This is going to last for a while, which is unfortunate. But let's talk about why I'm okay with it, because Echo is pretty damn sweet.
Yeah.
She is one of and I think we've all agreed, me, you, and our whole friend group has agreed, that she's kind of just one of the most immediately exciting characters that Overwatch has released in a long time. Not that Overwatch characters are ever bad. They are almost all have something cool about them, but Echo is just immediately, I mean, even from her base kit, I love high mobility characters in Overwatch. Part of why I love Mercy, because you can just fly all over the place. I like Pharah. I even like Tracer. I don't play her much. I'm not good with her, but I enjoy her. And Echo just immediately having she can fly around everywhere, and then her actual damage output thing is just done in a really cool way where you combo things together. You have your primary fire that is like a projectile thing, so it's a little hard to hit, but then her secondary fire are basically plasma grenades from Halo. Yeah. You can throw a bunch of them out either all at once or in a line, and they detonate, have a delayed effect and everything. And just the ultimate thing of and she has a focusing beam that if someone is at half health, you basically insta kill them if you have to keep it on them, but you drain them fast. All that together
also works on shields.
All that together to me just ends up it all just meshes so well. And when you're just combining, throw them down, do the primary fire, and then do this, she feels like you're managing a lot, but it feels really cool. It works really well. How are you enjoying Echo? Because I know you're not the biggest DPS guy in Overwatch,
No. Yeah, I'm liking her so far. Her kit is based on my little playtime I had with her. One, as far as the DPS goes, one I can kind of wrap my head around a little more so far.
Yeah, which
is nice. Stuff is very useful. Those plasma, whatever, grenades, sticky bombs. Sticky bombs are great, especially when you can get all what is it, 6 of them, all on one person, and then it's if you're not a tank, like, you did.
And I love that little delay. You put it on them, and then you're just like, huh.
Another personal kid.
Because I love someone. You feel like freaking Iron Man. Like, you put it on them, and then I look at them, and then I just fly away. And, like, there's something so you, like, stick them with bombs, you fly away, and then you see, ding, eliminated, whatever. It's like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
And obviously her laser's nice. Like, see someone, let's be like,
and that's going to be huge with like teamwork, especially whenever you're getting. There's certain characters like one thing that drives me crazy is going against Roadhog, especially if you're alone and he's just like, you're about to kill him, and then freaking take a breather. It's like, God damn it, now you can't or whatever. With Echo, I think it'll be a lot easier to, like, he's low and then you just and you get him down before he can heal himself. And just like general crowds of people, like Echo is a very good cleanup character.
I can see, I imagine it's something that people have potentially been doing. I know it's like a very particular thing, potentially like combining the laser with Zarya's ult, just getting people all in one place and be like, or maybe like Zarya and then Reinhardt is like doing the hammer, you shoot the laser in there, and it's like,
yeah, because that's the problem sometimes with Zarya, especially with the tanks. Like, half is about what you can get them to on a grab. Like, if they're full health or whatever and everyone's firing into it, you can maybe kill the squishies, but some of the bigger targets you can't get down. But yeah, Echo, if you have the whole team shooting into the grab and then Echo comes in there and just like cleans it up, like, yeah, it could get nasty. And just the barriers. This seems like a direct answer to the fact that like there are way too many barriers in Overwatch and everyone hates shooting into barriers constantly. Well, she can just like melt them once they get cracked and get to half health, which definitely feels nice when you see like a Ryan or Orisa that's like relying way too much on their shield and they're like taking space just with their shield, and you're like boom, and then like the whole team's exposed, and it feels nice. Yeah. And then Jeff, that's all. That's all just the kind of normal kit that is cool, but not transcendent like her ultimate is. Her ultimate is duplicate. And with duplicate, you can choose any character on the enemy team that's not Echo. You can't do this to Echo, but any other character.
No reason to do Echo.
Yeah. You become that other character for, it's either 15 or 16 seconds or something like that, which is cool on its own, but also your ult charge rate as that other character is like 650% or something. It is like 6 times effective. So, you... theoretically, if you get that and then you start shooting enough people and like you build up the charge, you can get more than one ultimate. And for some characters like Tracer, who have a very quick ult charge anyway, you can get like 3 up to 5 if you are good enough ults, which is freaking crazy.
Yeah, and just like us talking or whatever, and we can see a little bit of that when we watch the exhibition matches earlier between some pros. There are a bunch of strategies you can do with this. You can either just grab someone and sort of build up an ult charge like a DPS or something, just get a couple of ults off. Or you can get someone like Reinhardt just for the sake of having a shield. Or do a support character, just get a little extra healsies. Yep. Or do very specific stuff like you have an Ana on your team, copy their Ana, and you both use your ult and just go insane.
Like 2 nanos. Or copy Mercy and get an extra res. Or get a res, if you don't have a Mercy, you could res someone or whatever. Yeah. That's what like this ultimate, like it's easy to immediately think like, 2 shatters in one thing, or I'm use this crazy, Genji blade, all the offensive stuff. But that is like the thing about it is it's so flexible. It allows you, and for the pros that have like months to prepare around Echo, you could run so many cool plays where like suddenly you have 3 tanks, or suddenly you have 3 supports or everything, or even just in a pinch, you can like, even when I was playing with Alex a little bit like after you had already dropped off, we definitely won. There was 1 or 2 fights that we won because I changed the Lucio real quick and got sound barrier and like boom or whatever. And it's like the sudden sound barrier that the other team was not expecting whatsoever because we don't have a Lucio. And then suddenly we have that, and that was enough to win the fight. that stuff like that happens a lot where like especially in pros, there's just going to be that threat that at any moment I can pull out a tank, a support, or anything or whatever, even though it's really quick, is very impactful.
Oh yeah.
And you can even and also it's important to note another, I think, very big part of this is that while Echo is that character, if you die as that character, you just turn back to Echo. You don't die completely.
Yeah. So, something I'm sure I've asked you this before. I'm not 100% sure. So let's say hypothetically you have your ult as Echo and you have pretty low HP. You used the ult, obviously you become the character you copy full health.
Right.
When you die, do you go back to that previous HP or do you get full?
I think you're full. I'm almost certain you're
that
full.
is also
It's
very
huge.
nice.
Yes.
That just gives you a lot of extra HP just there.
You basically get 2 lives. So like,
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure on that one, but I'm pretty sure you just go back, you're a full Echo again. Which, yeah, and I saw it in the exhibition match, and there was a few in mine where it's like, there's a really close fight that we've traded. Like they went down 2, we went down 2. So it's like it's a winnable fight, and I'm about to die, and I duplicated really quick, and I didn't even do much with that duplicate, but I was able to stay in the fight.
Yeah.
And because they basically had to kill me twice, we ended up overtaking them and going. So it can also just be used as a desperation. Like, all right, boom, now you have a giant tank, and then you have a DPS to worry about afterwards. Mm-hmm. And even just like you could do Baptiste and put down an Immortality Field, like get some ability that you don't normally have. And Immortality Field lasts for so long that like you could get it, put it down, you die as Baptiste, but that stays there. You have that now. Or Amplification Matrix, you put that up, and it's like, all right, now we have that. You can kill me, whatever. We still have this now, and it's just crazy. It's such a cool idea for an ult, and it works. Like, this is the perfect time because obviously in order for Echo to really feel cool and impactful, you needed a lot of characters, so that it's like the possibilities are endless. She's a 30-second character. Like, we're at a good point for this to happen, and now every time there's a new character added, it's like, okay, this is a new Echo target.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I feel like, and you'll know if there's one anyway, I feel like I haven't heard people talk about like specifically what a character's ult can do strategy wise, like for any of the new characters that have been added. You know what I'm saying?
No, what do you mean?
So it's kind of like, obviously people talk about generally what a new character can do for strategies. I feel like, obviously, for the Reservoir Kit's good. I feel like a lot of people are just thinking about the ult and all the crazy stuff you do just with that.
Yeah, I mean, that alone is
like, that's a
wild.
whole big conversation like that has enough to talk about more than some of these characters just in general.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, her ult in general is just amazing. I mean, it's just cool that her kit's also really good. Yeah, her kit also happens to be good in addition to this. But like, yeah, I'm even wondering, especially in Owl, are there going to be people that like don't play a certain character so that they can't get echoed?
Yeah.
Like Sombra is one of those. It's like you play Sombra, her kit's pretty good, but the main reason at the top level you play Sombra is EMP. Yeah. Is having the threat of EMP at any moment, which EMP completely disables everyone's abilities, like that's in line of sight of her when she does that. But is having Sombra as nice of a as a idea, or like it's good of a thing to have if the other team can take it and use EMP too? And it's like the thing about Sombra is kind of a risk reward because she's not the best DPS. She doesn't put out a ton of damage, but EMP is so nice. But if you have that and the other team has an Echo, they have EMP and they also have a better DPS. So it's like, yeah, there might be times where it's like Echo changes what the other team even thinks about doing, which is pretty cool. And it helps with like oppressive ults like Maze Blizzard, where it's like, well, we have it right back at you, so maybe think twice about doing that. I
realized something nice about today's exhibition match. I just realized, no Maze!
Oh, they're having fun, Jeff. They're trying to have fun. Yeah. And that's why we saw so much Torb. Yeah, she's just such a fascinating hero. And the more I think, like, it just seems like we're going to be so long into Echo being out and new things are still going to be happening, where it's just
it's looking like, I know people kind of jump onto like they do in most DLC characters, like she's overpowered, but it's kind of looking more like she's really good. She will be useful, obviously, but doesn't seem to be overpowered because she's very squishy.
And yeah, I already see that dying down. That is something you know from Smash and just from any game ever.
I played a lot of fighting games and Fallout.
Anytime there's a new character, there's always calls about how they're broken and overpowered. It just always
most
happens.
of the time before anyone gets their hands on them.
Right. And I mean, the problem is in Overwatch, it's been true. It's been true multiple times. Like, Brigitte legitimately, like, broke the game for, like, 2 years. I mean, it's happened in Overwatch before. And I definitely, like, when I was watching that in the training ground, and they were like, okay, this is her ultimate, and, like, on the, like, the training dummies, they were getting, like, 3 shatters in a row, 5 tracer pulse bombs. It's like, what were they thinking with this character? This is absurdly broken. But in reality, it's not nearly as easy as it sounds like to actually get those things out. Because you have to know when to do it, and then you have to get like kills and stuff, and then get damage, and then put the ult out. Especially in the Overwatch League, I think that's too much time. And there'll be like some teams that'll be like, oh, he did duplicate, back the fuck up, or like focus him. You know, it's not something like a lot of the other best ultimates in the game, like Maze, is it comes out and you don't have time to react. Like, you can't get away. Echoes is actually, in a weird way, kind of a slow developing ult. Because you use the ult and then you're not going to get the, like, impact of it for a while.
And
afterwards.
even depending, it's not like it's always like, oh, it's always going to be great, because something that I just kind of noticed in the exhibition match, and I'm sure you know from your time playing it, is like copying like Winston, for instance. You get his thing, you go berserk, and you may not be able to get through the full thing. Yeah,
and the whole point of Winston's ult is supposed to be that he can stall for a long time. It lasts a long time, but like, unless you get Winston's ult immediately, you're not going to get anywhere near enough time with it. Yeah, like, not all Echo targets are created equal, and like, obviously I'm bad, but a lot of the times when I tried Echo's thing, I didn't even get to the ultimate because just the circumstances weren't right. And it was kind of, I know it was just a funsy joke match, but it was kind of heartening to see that the pros also had the same thing. There's a lot of times that they used duplicate, tried to get something to happen, and it just didn't. And I think that's going to happen a lot, because pros are going to know, they're going to hear that voice line and say, all right, focus them, because they are the, you know, enemy number one now.
Yeah, I agree. And you mentioned it, I agree. I think like once we kind of get into settle down, even maybe like right away, like as far as at least Overwatch League stuff, Echo will be kind of a situational type thing,
right? Like,
depending on the map, because again, I kind of listen to you and Alex for a lot of this stuff, because you follow this a lot more as far as this, like, and then when I usually hear like, okay, that makes perfect sense. Like, Echo may, you know, be map situational in a way, because they'll be just kind of like with Pharah and stuff, a good Widow can snap you out of the sky.
Boom, and you're done. And like, there's no worse feeling than like, I'm gonna play Pharah. All right, 3, 2, 1, go, bam.
And like, in Overwatch League, I imagine every team has a good Widow.
You saw it in the exhibition match when they duplicated Widow and immediately headshot. It's like, what the hell? She is far from a completely oppressive hero. That's like Mei. Like, that's why Mei can be played anywhere at any time, pretty much, and that's part of the problem. Echo is not going to be like that. She's going to be very strong in certain circumstances,
and very fun to watch, which is good for like Overwatch League and stuff.
And that's really what we want. That's what people want the most, is like, I want heroes to be map dependent for the most part. You know, like, they're good for certain circumstances, and other heroes are better for other ones. Like, at least, especially from a viewing standpoint. Like, I'm bad enough at Overwatch that I pretty much play the same heroes regardless, but from, you know, that top level.
It's just like for a while there where it was just the same 6 characters on both teams. Every situation.
Overwatch is in a much better place now than it was before. Regardless of what people say, there's some people that are just like never pleased. No matter what.
Also, just like a cute little thing is where the voice actress says like the ult lines. Or a variation of them.
They record voice lines for every single character, and I guess every new character that comes, they're gonna have to coming and recording more.
I mean, it's their Kirby now.
yeah. It's basically like every character is like, all right, now we gotta think about that. Good.
No, then again, they just gotta record a couple of voice lines instead of actually having to make a model.
Yeah, that's easier for sure. Yeah, she's damn cool. It really sucks that she's the last one for a little while, but
yeah. So maybe we can talk about that just for real quick. Since. I guess how you feel about maybe not getting anything to Overwatch 2.
It's a bummer, and yeah, we kind of had a whole conversation before this podcast just about Overwatch 2. I don't think we need to go through all that right now. Yeah. We'll probably talk about that more maybe at another time. But it's weird because Overwatch 2 in a lot of ways is a lot better than it could be. It could have just been you have to get Overwatch 2 and that's like locked in here. At least this is a way that they're like keeping Overwatch 1 happy at the same time. But I can't help but feel like the heroes that we would have been getting for Overwatch 1 are just kind of being held hostage by this Overwatch 2 that's like somewhere nebulous down the road. Yeah. And especially since like we're going to be getting all this stuff, you don't even have to buy Overwatch 2 to get all these heroes. It kind of just feels like, then why? Yeah. Then why are you holding on to these heroes? Because that's the shitty thing is like, we're going to be in freaking October and it's like, I know they have probably 2 or 3 heroes ready. Just fucking drop them, you know? It kind of sucks that Overwatch just has to go through this dry, dead year just to wait for that. It almost feels like the Wii U. You have to go through the Wii U to get to the Switch. It's like, it's going to be a dry year for no real reason. Just like Activision wants a sequel, basically. Pretty much. So it is a bummer. It's a bummer. It's not as bad as it could be, but it's a bummer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, it's going to suck. I prefer them just kind of release them in piecemeal like they're doing, but
it works.
Just think how good it will feel. Just kind of that launching, and we just get multiple new heroes and maps and a new mode to play with.
I was about to say, like, I still think overall I would rather the piecemeal thing or whatever, like, because I don't want to go through this dry year. But
that's going to be a good day.
But if we're gonna have this, like, there is something kind of appealing about the chaos of like 10 new heroes being released in Overwatch at once. Because like already when one hero is released, like content creators, like your Overwatch is the one I follow the most. He has like 5 different Echo videos already, like dissecting every little thing. I can't imagine if it's like, here's 10 heroes. Like, just logging into Overwatch, it would just be chaos. It's like, what?
Well, then there's the new maps, which are in some ways as big as characters.
Absolutely.
And all that. And I could see, I don't know if they've said this, so, speak up if there's something that's been said. I can imagine there's a good chance they might rework a couple of the old heroes like they have done before.
Yeah, they definitely might. I'm not sure if they said they were doing.
I'm not even sure who would be good for that or what they would do, but I can see them.
Even if they don't, like up to like 10 new heroes at once would just change everything, and a new game mode and new maps all at once. Still, again, wish that we could just get it here, but that would just be a fun time to log into Overwatch and just be like, all right, strap in. Don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. Crazy time.
Everyone's just like, you might have entire games with just like new heroes.
Like this feels.
All 6 characters are new. And
as long as there are like 2 of each, and they keep the 2-2-2 thing, that's probably what it's going to be for a lot of the matches because people want to play the new characters.
Probably. That would be wild. That would be so weird to log into Overwatch and literally not recognize a single character.
Like, I have no idea what to do here. I don't know how any of these characters really work.
Pressing buttons, there's like rockets going everywhere. This person just like shoots confetti. What the fuck's going on?
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Well, that's fun. Overwatch is fun. All right, Jeff, you got one last thing, and this is where my video thing is needed because
you might need sound.
Yeah, I can turn the sound too. I can just hope. I hope this isn't terrible on your eardrums. Turn that down. And we'll just see how this goes. So I'm clicking this link right here.
Yep.
Do you need to say things to people, or do we just need to go?
Animal Crossing and Doom are out. That's
that's it. That's the story.
Yep.
All right, what video am I clicking here?
Load in. Yeah, that thing.
Oh, yeah. Let me go full screen if you can, please.
Of course, now it's taking a while to load.
This might be an IGN problem. Wish if I could just go to Twitter. All right, here we go.
Just X out of that thing so it doesn't.
Oh, whatever.
Okay, so I guess we'll do a little more thing. Doom and Animal Crossing out of the same day, and it's been beautiful seeing the fan bases react and kind of.
It has. The love and support back and forth. And I love the IGN's art for the two. Yeah, the two side by side, Isabel and the Doom thing. This is just not working very well. Well,
That's it.
all right. Okay, here we go. Let me make sure. Okay, we are on there. I'm gonna need to watch it here. Hopefully the audio is not terrible.
Okay. Yeah, for audio listeners who don't see the visual, this is a fan-made video of the band Doom Animals. A bunch of Animal Crossing characters. Well, and also Marnie from Pokémon.
Randomly Marley.
Yeah, the villager just was Marnie playing Doom music. This is the kind of content we need in these dark times.
Wait, yeah, this is necessary. Yeah, I love the Doom Twitter account just said thank you.
Yeah, the official Doom account said thank you for this.
That is really good. It's very, very, very powerful.
Yep. This is what we need.
So that band was already named that, right? They were just like, this is just our time.
Yeah.
This is the perfect time for us. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I had a fantastic time. Stay safe out there. Things are rough.
Yep. I guess also, Darby, if you want to, one last thing, promote our new stream show thing we're doing called Late to the Party, where we're playing
Go ahead, man.
a bunch of old games that Darby and I missed out on our miserable lives to make up,
It's true.
fill in some gaps in our gaming history and stuff. And we're planning on starting with Mega Man Legends in honor of a Mr. Kyle Bosman.
To you. Here's to you.
Yeah.
Our sweet baby boy.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. It's just going to stream just like our normal Nerds at Large plays things on twitch.tv/Nerds at Large Gaming, but we're going to brand it in Late to the Party and probably do period like every now and then like discussions about it, and probably do basically a spoiler cast at the end of it, and just kind of like think, see how did this hold up, what we think about it, because we'll probably be playing a lot of games that are highly revered that we just have meant to play but just never did. So I am excited about it. We have a lot of cool ideas for games floating around everywhere, and it'll be a fun time.
Yep.
So we'll probably start that sometime this week.
Yep.
Look forward to it. All right. Thank you guys so much. Peace.